Okay. Should we wait a little bit?
No, I think we've got a lot of camps, lots of vehicles.
I'm sorry?
We've got acres. No, the acres.
The Eichus.
Shlomo Alshreiber has got the grandson's chasna.
Oh, Mazel Tov. Okay, Rabbi say. Where's Michael? Hello? Oh, here he is. From Daniel Koltov. Okay, let's start. Very nice to see you, Michael. Okay, we'll start. Rabbi say, a big yesod in this week's parsha. Again, I apologize for my voice. In Har Gerizim and Har Evel. So 6 Shvatim stood in Har Gerizim, 6 Shvatim on Har Evel, and there were the Levim in the middle with Aaron, and when they went to give a bracha, they faced Har Gerizim. And they wanted to give a klala, they faced Har Evel. But a bracha and klala were both said. In fact, we even know also what was said first. The bracha, it says first the bracha. Right? So why is the Rav Kaduri sitting so back?
I have to leave before the end.
Okay. Yet the Torah records only the klalas. Right? The Torah records only the klalas. Orur. Says Rashi, you can understand that there was a baruch said, and you can figure out the baruchs. If the or is Arura Ish Asher Yaseh Pesel Masecha, the bracha was Baruch Ish Asher Lo Yaseh Pesel Masecha. Arura Ish Makle Avi V'imai, the bracha was the opposite. The Torah did not spell both because you could deduct one from the other. Michlal hen ata shomei alav, or michlal lav ata shomei hen. But what's the obvious question to ask? So say the brachas. Think positive. Especially the brachas were said first. The Maral asks this kasha. Here you have it on page 1. Upaschu bebracha. Da bracha kodem klaksim. Number 15. In the pasuk. What does it say in the pasuk? Eli yamdu levarchas ha'am. And then it says, Eli yamdu leklala. Im ken hakochach, paschu bebracha. V'im toimar. Lama kasav klala b'kra. So why did you write only the klala? Adarabba. On the contrary, having a michtav bracha b'kra. You should have said the bracha, and from that I'll deduct the klala. And of course, Baruch Hu wants to give a midah tova meruba for sure. V'yireh loymar. V'yireh loymar. She'ha'ikar hu ha'klala. The main thing is the klala. Okay? Shayu tzrichim lekabel ha'torah ba'olah. Rashi says at the end of Hemshver, they had to accept the Torah ba'olah, ulefira kosav ha'klala b'kra. And Pesama, the klala is the main thing. Because they have to accept the Torah before entering Eretz Yisrael, and they have to accept it with the klala. Why? The Rambam doesn't explain. By the way, he also said it already earlier, because this Rashi appears also in Parshas Re'eh. So what's up, shot? So Rabbi said, I want to learn with you a little mimer here of Rav Fulton Zatzal. What? No. It's okay. A drink will help. Shkiach. Okay. Rabbi said there's a Gemara in Maseches Avodah Zarah. We're going to join before he's in the middle of that Gemara. The Gemara in Maseches Avodah Zarah, Daf Beis Amud Beis says that when what's the lashon of the pasuk? Omad v'yitar goyim. What's the lashon there? Omad v'yatar goyim. That what happened there? HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw that the goyim are not keeping Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach, and they decided that they don't want it, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'iter them. Which sounds, they won't be punished. Says the Gemara, that's Choyte Niskar. Because they transgressed and bunked left, right, and center, so now they're potter? Looks to me there's a thing. That's where no. They're going to get a full punishment on what they transgress. But even if they're going to fulfill the mitzvahs, they're going to get a schar k'misha eino mitzvah vayse. And here the Gemara brings the famous statement, Kodol mitzvah vayse, mimisha eino mitzvah vayse. So it comes out that the Goyim are punished twice. They're going to get a full punishment when they transgress, and when they don't transgress, and they keep it, they'll get a partial schar. Asks Rabbi Sol Salant in Koch Ve'or, it's not fair. Give them the full punishment when they transgress, and give them the full reward when they what's the opposite of transgress? Observe. Why a full punishment when they transgress and a partial schar when they do it right? Zelo fair. Zelo fair. So I say, you tell me, why do you think, before we go into here, why Godol Mitzvah Vayse Misha Eino Mitzvah Vayse? Why is that so? Let's bring it down to Lamaisa. A husband and a wife are sitting in a sukkah. The husband's mitzvah, the wife is not mitzvah. The husband gets more reward. Why? Was they saying doeg mitzvah? What does that mean? He's tensed. He's stressed out a little bit. Am I into the schach? Is the schach kosher? Is tzil samaruba mechamasa? But his wife's not stressed. So lefum tzara agra. Anybody want to say another verse? Other verse?
It's harder when you know you've got to do it.
What?
It's easier to tidy your room when your parents haven't asked you than it is to do it when they have asked you.
Right, to tide. That's the word. In America, that word doesn't exist. Just know. To tide the room?
Tidy. No?
Enke Zamila. But I just know what it means. It's easier what? Okay? It's easier, meaning everybody has a little bit of a rebellious streak, and when you're told what to do, you don't like it. Anybody want to say another swar? There's a big Yitzhahara that fights you. Good. Any other swar? Why mitzvah vayse misha eino mitzvah vayse?
If it's mitzvah, then you know that's the Ratzon, so there's more stuff.
Meaning it's Ratzon Hashem. I'm doing it, Hashem wants me to do it. If I'm not mitzvah, Hashem did not tell me to do it. I'm doing it because of my own, fine, that's the what the Rav says. Good. So now we're joining Rav Hiltner on page 2. And his Hebrew is almost poetry. But don't worry. That's why he spoke also stop. He's in the midst of quoting the Gemara in Avodah Zarah. Uparich, the Gemara says, Omad Be'at Goyim, then Kosh Baruch Hu let them off. The Havamina of the Gemara was, they're potter. Uparich itgure itkam, meaning choyte niskar, umeshani lomar lecha she'ein mekabim aleim schar k'mitzvah vayse, ela k'mi she'eino mitzvah vayse. Because of us, beSefer O Yisrael. That's what B'Shal Salater. V'lchuri yipaleh. Achrei ki kima shelo kimu zayin mitzvahs. Bevadai yanshu al zeh. Yes, they should deserve a punishment when they don't observe it. Madua yanshu od b'kiflaim. But why are they punished more? Ki kupach gam scharam shelo yikiblu schar lamitzvahs shikamu v'kimi she'eino mitzvah vayse. Why a double punishment? They're not Jews. So what? You got to be fair. On page 2. And then like the 6th line off the top. Ulam lefia nal yuvan etem. The gama mitzvah v'oise ef shelo shekibel schar k'mi she'eino mitzvah v'oise. Oh, Rav Daniel. Okay. I tried to call you up before. Did you see?
Sent the message.
Huh?
Sent the message.
Oh, you did? Okay, good. So Rabbi Shol Salata says, I'll tell it to you orally, and then we'll read inside. I'm going to take your side. Who's the one that said Doeg Mitzvah before? Rabbi Yehuda. The white godel mitzuvaisa mishaino mitzuvaisa, he's doing umitzdar. Meaning, what's the chiddush of Tosfos? Without Tosfos, I would say, what defines if you're mitzuvavesa or not mitzuvavesa? A husband and a wife sitting in a sukkah? No, הכדור זה קצת רחוק. אתה פה אני יכול... אני יותר קרוב. Okay? הקדוש ברוך הוא commanded the man, הקדוש ברוך הוא did not command the woman. So what defines if you're mitzuvavesa or not mitzuvavesa? Were you commanded by Hashem, yes or no? Adds Tosfos, but there's another prerequisite. How did the person that was commanded, how did he treat this commandment? Was he doing umitzdar or not? Hypothetically, it could be a person that legally was commanded by Hashem, but he's not doing umitzdar. Doing umitzdar means, like Rav is going to explain, that when you not only you feel good when you did it right, you feel terrible when you blew it. That's called doing mitzvah. But if I don't feel terrible that I blew it, so even if I do it, I'll get a reward of Eino Mitzvah. Because it takes two to become Mitzvah. A, HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded you. B, that your attitude was following suit. I gotta do it. It's my chiyuv. But if the attitude was, what do I say? It comes to the davening in a minyan. Let's take a few examples from day-to-day life. Sorry. If I don't daven in a minyan, no skin off my nose. That's the expression in England? No?
We know what it means, yeah.
You know. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not happy, but it's okay. I immediately rationalize, fine. If I have that attitude, so even when I do daven a minyan, I'm going to get a schar of Eino Mitzvah. Because I don't have this relationship of doing a mitzvah. It could be hypothetically two brothers from the same yichus, same family, same everything. One will come up to Beis Shamal and get a schar like this, and one will come to Beis Shamal and get a schar like that. The one who's getting less is going to say, we're the same yichus. If he's mitzvah, I'm mitzvah. So why am I getting less? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will answer, yes, I commanded both of you. But his attitude was doing mitzvah, and yours wasn't. It could be the same person himself. On some mitzvahs, he has the relationship of doing a mitzvah, on others he doesn't. The ones that he has doing a mitzvah, he'll get a reward of mitzvah. On the ones that he doesn't, you can take it a step further. It could be the same person with the same mitzvah that went through different phases in his life. So when he was in a phase in yeshiva, he was very makbid in Kriya Shema B'zmanui. But once he became a balabos, he's not so makbid. So even if he will say Kriya Shema B'zmanui, he'll get a schar of Eino Mitzvah. No, your attitude classifies if you're a total mitzvah voice, yes or no. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to command you, obviously, but how did you reciprocate to the tzibur of Hashem? You know what? We can take people maybe who are not so makbid to daven in a minyan, right? People who are not so makbid to daven in a minyan, but when it comes to 11 months of Kaddish, so what happens then? They're very makbid. And if they don't daven in a minyan, they feel terrible. So maybe throughout those 11 months, we'll be mitzvah. After the 11 months are over, he's back to norm. So even if he does come to davening, it's called Eino Mitzvah. Michal.
What's the Vayato going then? Because it's not.
Okay, it's a kasha thing, but that's what it says. So let's explain it. Okay, it says, so we're on page 2. Anybody want to read today? Like to help the Jewish people? Michal. You see, isn't it nice that I take my volunteers? And Michal now has a son in the base. So that's very important. Okay. Beseder Gabor. So let's start again, Reb So Salant, on the third line. on page 2. If you want, Michal, only if you want. It's okay?
Oh, yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, okay. And not only you don't mind, but you want.
So
Koifi no sachi ma roitzani.
I'll be very upset if I don't.
Good.
ולחרי בפולי, אחרי כמשלי, קימו זי mitzvahs, בבדי יום של זה, they'll get the onesh for not keeping the Sheva mitzvahs. מדוע יום של בכפליים, actually get double punishment, כי קופח גם שכר actually קבלו שכר על המצווה, שקיימו רק מי שאין מצווה עשה, they'll also only get the schar for the mitzvahs that they did do as if they were in a mitzvah isa.
Right. Ulam.
לפי הנ"ל, יובן היטב, גם המצווה isa actually שיקבל schar רק כמי שאין מצווה isa. Even a person who is mitzvah can get schar as if he's not mitzvah. כי כל הישרים שיש למצווה isa, על שאין מצווה isa, הוא רק מפני הדאגה והצער שדרגים מצטער יסף אין יבר. The only extra that you get for being mitzvah v'isa is the added stress and worry that you have that you're going to not do the mitzvah.
Right.
Or be over on the avera. In Kemi, she'ena doig a mitzvah, kiyama mitzvah ben yavar, mitzvah ki gam ha-mitzvah she'ikayim so even when he does do a mitzvah, if he's not worried, yeah, mahus schara rak v'geder in mitzvah v'isa. He'll only get the schar, the geder of a person who is not mitzvah v'isa. Ki ma b'kashru mitzvah, na'ach she'ena doig a mitzvah, tzivir shemachim. So what? He's mitzvah. He's not worried.
So even though legally Hashem told him, but he doesn't reciprocate. Malken.
Malken kasherai kushbaruch kunasan livnei for exam mitzvahs and lekimum. And kushbaruch saw that they weren't being mekayim design mitzvahs, which was all they had. Hari ki ein lehem da'aga v'tzar klal lekayim tzivui shemachim. It's clear that they had no da'aga v'tzar. Lezois kamim yikayim le'et mitzvah, even if they are mekayim le'yikablu schar rak mish ein mitzvah v'isa. They'll only get, it was a natural consequence of the fact that they weren't keeping the mitzvah, so they'll only get Misha in a mitzvah ways then.
Ad kan talking about. But boy, it's not nice this is so slaughter. It's so relevant to everyone. I can say to myself, how do I feel if a day went by and I didn't learn? A day went by and I didn't crack up a sefer. How do I feel? If I feel oyam v'nara, so then when I do learn, I'm going to get the schar mitzvah moiseh. But if I have all these defense mechanisms and saying, you win some, you lose some, fine, you can't do it every day, it's okay. Don't feel bad about it. So then even if the next day I learn for 10 hours, I'm going to get the schar, ain't a mitzvah moiseh. The criteria, if I'm called mitzvah moiseh or not, is the doyeg u'mitzvah. Says Rabbi Sol's Ladra, that's the pshat the Gemara of the Zohar. After all these generations that the Goyim stopped keeping Shemitz B'neinach, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu psychologically understood that they really don't care. And therefore, even when they are become the mitzvah, they get a reward of Eino Mitzvah Moiseh. No, otherwise.
You once told us, take away the soften from behind us. Why behind us? If you've already gone past. Because he tries to tell you, don't worry if you do it.
Really?
Do you not want to say that?
It sounds very nice. Shkoyach. Okay, I remember it.
Yeah?
Fine. It's a Moritik Yisod Moisei. It has to do with davening in a minyan. It has to do with so many things. How do I feel when I blew it? That is the criteria. But first, let's add a svara to it. Why is that so? Maybe we'll finish what Rav Otner says on this paragraph. Go on, Rabbi Chol. I'll tell you what Rav Otner is speaking about. He's speaking about there's a special kind of tshuva for apikorsus. It's called bayalo yeshiva, and it's a different process. The regular averse, if there's such kind of expression, is Yom Kippur. If there's a question of minus, it's a whole different process. Yet when you do the al chetz, the pay is prikas ol. What does prikas ol sound like? Removing the yoke of Hashem. I'm denying Hashem. That's kfira. Says Rav, no, we don't deal with kfira on Yom Kippur. It's not. It's not part of the. It's not the agenda on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur we deal with averse that we do because but not prikas ol. So prikas ol then doesn't mean kfira. That's what it's the mechadish. So then what does it mean? That's what we can explain now. Kanu.
Kan
He really should have said kan he. David. Kan he on the Kudah Pnimit. He knew Hebrew very well. I guess it's a typo. Kan he.
You know, in Lashon HaKodesh, the Vav is also
Yeah, but that one he's right here. In Sefer Torah. Okay, good. Okay. Let's go on.
Kan he and
Oh, masticate.
so Prikasol. Kshibo b'Torah Savera. This is the
This is what I mean in Prikazol. Not Kfira. Rather,
Meblishum Shaykhas in Aminas, not clear. This is Prikasol as an Avera. Prikasol Zu Ina El Chisorin Avoda to Kabbalas Odom. This is the not.
the lack of accepting a yoke.
Yecholi Hilimoti Gametel Odom Shekiin Kol HaMitzvos Ve'Ala Shem Avera Miyom. You can do all the mitzvahs.
It could be applicable to someone who never did a virus. Dalo Yichulim Anu.
Doesn't do any ra, and he only
To all its branches, and that's good to all its seifim, which is another way to say branches.
It's something that he wants to do.
He's a volunteer. He doesn't feel obligated. I'm doing a favor to God.
He recognizes the worth of the avodah, the value of the avodah, but so he doesn't recognize his obligation to.
Exactly, his subjugation to it. Mekaimu.
He does everything he needs to do. He's doing a favor.
When he's paying back a debt, he thinks he's giving a gift. That's what we're saying. When you give a gift, you feel like cool. You're paying back a debt. It's your obligation, right? V'zoi mauta. He's quoting from what he went elsewhere. So, Prikas Ol, Al Chet Shechatanu Lefanecha B'Frikas Ol, according to Rav Hutner means, I did the mitzvahs, but without the urgency, without feeling I'm subjugated. It's obligation. I felt I'm doing something beyond my call of duty. And here the point of Rabbi Yisrael Salanter is, there's two things which are yardstick. How great you feel when you do it right, and how terrible you feel when you blew it. What is a more accurate yardstick? Says Rav Hutner the second one. Why? You want to say Svara? What's the Svara? There's two. Well, both of them are definitely showing something. You feel great when you did it right, and you feel terrible when you blew it. What shows that you're more a meshubad, subjugated, a chiyuv? The latter one. Why, what we say? You want to say Asfara? I think it's Balabatish, Bamas. That's what I think. Of course I feel good when I do it right. If I help the old lady cross the street, yeah, I feel good. I don't have to help old ladies cross the street. Okay, old man, let's say. Yeshivish Legamai. I helped the old man cross the street. What do I feel?
You accomplished something.
Nice. Does that show that I feel it was my obligation? No. Everybody, when he does something nice, even though if it's not his obligation, he feels cool about it. Why not? But the second one, if you're a volunteer, why do you feel bad? Right? If you're a volunteer, so I came to volunteer. One day I didn't come to volunteer. Tell me thank you for the days I did come. But I don't feel devastated if I didn't volunteer. Because it's not my chiyuv. So what shows chiyuv? How do I feel when I blew it? That's his pointer. It's a more to go, not to judge others. Each person should judge himself. Nothing to do with others. How do I feel about certain mitzvahs? I'm sure we feel. I'm going to say. I'm sure we feel great when we do it right. You know what? If you learn like 3-4 hours straight, and it was geshmak, and you're mechadesh, you even answered a kasha or two of the achrayim. So what do you feel? groovy. They used to say that once, right? You feel groovy. It's gewaldig. I learned for 4 hours straight. I even answered the kasha of the K'tois. Of course I feel great. But how do I feel if 3 days I didn't open up a sefer? Garnished. How do I feel that? That shows that by me, the chiyuv of Talmud Torah is a choiva. And the repercussions are tremendous, says Rabbi Slander. Because if I don't feel upset, I don't think to feel depressed. I don't think the Torah ever wants you to be depressed. But to feel upset and say, I blew it. I didn't live up to the bar that I should have lived on. I didn't. So when if I don't have that argasha, that means deep down I feel I'm not mechuyev. It's argasha. Of course, logically I am. I'm in Harsina. I'm in Yid. But deep down, I don't feel bad. I win some, I lose some, fine. So then, even when I do it right, I'm going to get a schar of Eina Mitzvah, which is about 20% of the schar. I saw one of the Rishonim said it's 20%. If a husband and wife sit in a sukkah, the husband gets 5 times more than the schar. Don't tell it to your wives. I don't think you do. Because Doegem Mitzvah. Doegem Mitzvah is a definition. Rav Hutner wants now to explain how can the Pasha Shni of Shema has a yes and a no. Vaya im Shema tishmu ba 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 ba. Hishamu lechem pe niftar lechem. How come the Pasha Rishana doesn't have a yes and a no? That's what he's coming to explain. We won't have enough time to explain how come the Pasha Rishana doesn't, but he wants to say, why do you have a yes and a no in the Pasha Shniya? You can't mekabel ol machut shamayim, just the yes? That's what he's going to explain now. Let's go on, Michal. And Bach say.
Crazy one is that Hamshek Varena Ha'asukin for Pasha Shniya for Shema, and Afrishek after Inay Al-Tivo Shalom.
Yeah.
In the Afrishek you see the goodness of the life.
The Tivo here doesn't mean goodness. Here Tivo means the nature. The nature of life.
Understanding what Krikas Ha'ol means.
Yeah. Look how he's going to define it.
Avodah shebelev tekabalas oil mitzvahs ineno stam hachloto shel kiyum mitzvahs. It's not just a decision to be mekayim the mitzvahs. Ki hachlotos kiyum mitzvahs eshel liyos hachloto shel nidbas alev. It can be something that I'm deciding to do voluntarily.
Right.
But oiche kabalas oil mitzvahs ikar inyana he hishtablis hanefesh lekiyum mitzvahs
Hishtablis dafka. It's dafka when I feel obligated. Okay, therefore, Kabbalah's own mitzvahs. It's not enough that I feel great when I do the mitzvah. Ella? He'ader kiyum. What does ason mean? Ason means tragedy. Okay, right? Here. Hana'ah gdolai. Go ahead.
It's not a tragedy if you don't.
It's very nice. If I'm the sweet man, the candy man, like we say in America, I give out the sweets every Shabbos. Baruch Hashem, I'm not obligated to, but I do. If one Shabbos I forgot to bring it, I'll tell the kids I'm sorry, but I don't feel terrible. Okay, next Shabbos I'll make up for it, right? Ulam. If I can't pay back a debt, I took a loan of £1,000, I made up with someone I'm going to pay back after 3 months. I'm not paying back. How do I feel then? I see him a mile away, already across the street. Right? I feel terrible. It's not that I'm not giving gifts. I'm not paying back my debts. It's much worse. There's an obligation that is a couple of million, I'm not doing it. That's the feeling in mitzvahs. Okay?
That is the
He wants to explain the no of Kriya Shema.
Parshas.
Well, first, I can tell you orally. The no doesn't mean if I will keep or I won't keep. Go ahead. He's going to say better.
Parshas Shnia the Kriya Shema Ba Hi B'Shnei Tzadim Shel Hein V'Lav Im Shomei Tishmeru V'Hisham Lachem.
Yeah, it's such a gewaltige Ha'ara. How come there's 2 tracks in the second parsha and there's only 1 track in the first parsha? It's a gewaltige point. Umikiman.
She'amru Chacham Hi Parshas Zu Hi Parshas Kabbalas Ol Mitzvahs. Lachem Teifeses Hi Shivas HaMachshava Ki HaHein V'Halav. Misparshim Hem B'Yachas L'Kuf
Look up. Shikras HaMachshava means superficially. The yes is I will accept, and the no is I won't accept.
V'Severes Hi Shivas HaMachshava Ki HaHein Mitzad Isha Kabbalah. The yes is yes, I'll do it.
I'll confirm it.
It's a Shlilas HaKabbalah.
Right.
The no is I won't do it.
And he's going to explain according to that Mahalach, U'mefereshet Hi Tfisa Zu.
As V'hoyam Shemoya Ka'ima Im Tekablu. V'hoyam Shemoya would you translate it then as if you accept. V'kumokim Mefereshes yes, Hishom Lachem Ka'ima Im Lo Tekablu.
Right.
Hishom would be if you don't accept. Aval Lefi Masha Lamadlu Ma'am Mazeh. It's not right. It's Mefereshes Hi Parshazu B'Ponim Chadashos. Ki L'Kush D'Mil. So really, Ein Parsha Shum Remes L'Shlias HaKabbalah Shel Mitzvahs. It's nothing to do with not accepting the mitzvahs. Ki ein hahein shel haparsha misparish b'muven ishar kabbalah, v'kumay ki ein halav misparish b'muven shlilas hakabbalah. Ela shegam hahein v'gam halav hein hein chelkei hakabbalah atzmon. Both the hein and the lav are a chelek of the kabbalah itself. Kuleimar kol haparsha kula eina istekes rak the ishar kabbalah's own mitzvahs. The whole thing is only.
Is speaking about I agree to come mitzvahs. Right.
The ain comes in with Klal Shlias HaKabbalah. There's no mention at all to
Of not accepting.
Shezehu HaMahalesh HaKabbalah Zol Mitzvahs. This is how you do it. Shekoila Lu B'Seichei Gam Es Tzad HaHein V'Gam Es Tzad Halav. Ki Al Keino Adam HaMekabel L'Atzmei El Kim HaMitzvahs Tzorech Lu L'Farish L'Atzmei So Osim Shel B'Tulan. The same way that you have to accept to do the
A person who accepts a yoke of mitzvahs, what does he have to do? Okay? He has to explain to himself the tragedy when he doesn't do it. Like he has to explain how great it is when he does do it.
It doesn't mean if you accept. But Allah shall parsha in Kvanasakal in Lo Tekablu. It doesn't mean if you don't accept. But Shavon Sahin he into kindness on it.
Into kaimu, not into kablu. V'alav.
Allah shall parsha Kvanasakal in Lo Tekablu on it.
So meaning what I say, the real true Kabbalah mitzvahs means that I know how great it will be when I do it right, and I know how that's also part of the Kabbalah. It doesn't mean if I'll accept or not accept. I'm going to accept, but part of the accepting of the yoke is I acknowledge that if I don't do it right, if I'm not mekayim it, there'll be terrible consequences. So I say, isn't it person that's what the Maral means? Now when we go back a second to page 1. What does it say on page 1? Where we have the arrow. He says, why do you mention only the klolos? The word bracha said as well. You want to save space, and I can deduct one from the other? Fine. So why are you saying the klolos and I'll deduct the brachas? You should have said the brachas, I'll deduct the klolos. So what is the answer? V'yireh loymar, after number 16. Ikra klala. Which sounds so, what do you mean? HaKadosh Baruch doesn't want to give klalas. What does it mean, ikra klala? It means that part of accepting the yoke is, I know how miserable I'll be if I don't do it right. That is an indicator of how obligated I feel. These are, especially 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. Already, 2 weeks from today is already Motzei Rosh Hashanah. Unbelievable. Rosh Hashanah is Kabbalah's Olmach B'Shamayim, Kabbalah's mitzvahs. It's not, I'm willing to do it. I understand it's my obligation. And if I'm not living up to my obligation, I'm falling short. I'm falling short from what I should be. This is not what was the plan. It's a chiyuv, and I'm not living up to my chiyuv. It's like not paying back a debt. That's his yisod here. And that's what we mean when we say, Al prikas ol. I didn't feel that obligation. That's what it means. I did the mitzvahs, but I didn't feel obligated. I didn't feel it. I felt that's a nice thing to do. But if I don't do it, it's okay. Well, if we got down the schools when we see people around and you ask yourselves, do they really believe in 2 weeks from now their life will be on the line? Do they really believe it? Their lives, their spouses, their families, do they really believe it? And hopefully they do. But there has to be some kind of a little bit trepidation. What's the word in English?
Trepidation.
Hey, Rosh Hashanah is coming. This is a serious thing. Nebuchadnezzar, Monday, 10 Yidden were killed. For that terrorist attack, Hashem Yirachem, 6, and 4 soldiers. That was the decreed on Rosh Hashanah. Hashem Yirachem. Okay, so it's a very serious day. Do I feel it? I like to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu these days, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if I'm not feeling it enough, please don't interpret it that I'm ignoring it, and I don't care. You got to be crazy to say that. When the terrorists are judged in Israeli courts, and they tell the courts, we don't recognize the authority of this court to judge us, they get even a more severe punishment. By ignoring. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm not ignoring you, chas v'shalom. And please don't interpret my behavior as ignoring. I'm just, we live in London, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to feel Elul in London. Even though I'm sure you could feel it. In yeshiva, let's face it, guys, in yeshiva, it was mamish there. It was on the table. The mashgichim were going around saying Elul, it was mamish there. Here you got to remind yourself.
She comes to sleep every morning.
Oh, achira asvayim. Nachon? That's definitely, and they have to wake up early. Ein achinami. We Ashkenazi blow shofar. I don't know if it's enough. It takes 10 seconds. But that's the avodah. The avodah is to feel and to understand we're not free agents. You have in sports free agents. I'm not a free agent. I'm an Eved Hashem, and I have a mission to accomplish. And part of it is I'm going to be judged on it. If I'm a volunteer, I'm not judged on anything. Just say thank you when I ever do anything nice. But if I'm a mechuyev, that's what this Bible is talking about. To feel, I think that's what the Moral means as well. Yes?
Is Rav saying that's the Yesod of Schar B'Einish? Because I always think of Schar B'Einish as Schar Mitzvahs, so to speak, in Einish V'Averis. But actually he's saying, because V'Haya is Schar B'Einish, he's saying that it's Schar B'Einish of doing the mitzvah and not doing the mitzvah.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're right. It's not so popular today to focus on Einish. But I would focus on as Einish, but to focus on, this is my duty. I'm a chuyev. Rabbi say, just to prove it to you, Chazal came up, we mentioned this a few times, Chazal came up with a new word. When a person dies, so Torah says, Vayamois, Vayigva. Chazal said, Niftar. That's what we talked today. He was Niftar. What does Niftar literally mean? Potter, dismissed. So if being dead means dismissed, what does it mean to be alive? I'm mechuyev. When I'm alive, I'm mechuyev. Mechuyev to who? To HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to my spouse, to my parents, to my siblings, to my children as a father, to other fellow Jew. I'm mechuyev. We're all mechuyev. All of us. When am I potter? After 120. That's when you're potter. And the indicator for ourselves is, how do I know that I'm going around with the feeling that I'm mechuyev? What do I feel when I blew it? That is the indicator. That sends the message home. If you feel good when you did it right, I'm sure it also means something. I'm sure it also is valuable. But it's much more accurate. I learned today half an hour. Come on. That's what goes behind the mind. What does the Rambam say how much you're supposed to learn a day? 8 hours a day? I'm not close to it. Come on. That's not a good enough. Okay, Rabbi, so we should all be Zoiche Be'ez Hashem, that through feeling Mechuyev, to Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, to be Zoiche Bedin, and it should be Aksiva, Chasiva Teva, and a good thing about Shteyar. I have a feeling that 2 weeks from now, we won't be learning here.
Next week?
Why not?
Next week, yeah.
What about 2 weeks? What's the Yom Ma Baya?
Let's do 1 week at a time. Wish for a fresh name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Shkoyach, go to Rabbi Zay.
The next week's